Hello, beautiful Earth Angels. Happy Friday. This is Jill Kempner, and I'm known as the Angelic Pain Relief Expert. I'm an angel coach, alchemist, and author of Receiving from Your Angels, 4 practices to heal your pain with angel love. And I'm delighted to be here with you to share a message from your pain. And so my mission is to lead, serve, and support highly sensitive, highly intuitive souls to transform your pain into peace and become calm, clear, and confident with angel love and relaxation. This is my mission. This is my passion. This is what I do at 24/7. Well, I sleep, but I'm probably doing stuff in my sleep too. All my soulpreneurs know, right? But no, I live, breathe, and think about how I can add value to your life, how to talk about what I do in just so many different ways. So today I wanted to talk about pain. Your pain has a message. And before I share that, I want to name this here, and I want to get more that when we're talking about angels and the angelic realm, when I'm talking about angels, there's no connection or affiliation with any one religion. I believe that the angels are beyond religion, because they come directly from the heart of Source. I believe Source God is beyond religion. Simultaneously, I understand why man created religion, right? For the ceremony, for the rituals, for a way to connect. So I personally honor all walks of faith and welcome them into my practice, right? It's not about, the work that I do isn't about changing your religious affiliation or any of that, right? We're bringing in the divine frequency that, yeah, maybe you did initially connect with through religion, and that's awesome, right? But the angel's frequency, God's Source's frequency, is beyond man-made religion. And I say this with deep compassion for myself, who has religious trauma, and for those of you, many of you, who've chosen the spiritual path because of different religious challenges, issues, traumas, right? Programming. So I see the angels as the heartbeats of God, right? So imagine God as a huge heart, and every time God's heart beats, an angel is created. So they are literally, when we connect with the angels, when we ask the angels for help, when we ask for support, we're asking the heart of Source. There is no separation. And I think that's, the ego separates, the ego limits, the ego divides. Thank you. But up there, right? I like to say your soul, your angels, and God, they're all on the same side. Hi, say hi if you're here. So I felt like that was important to name that today. And I want to be more intentional about bringing that just fact to the fact that when I talk about angels, it's not connected with any religious dogma or doctrine. Okay, and all the archangels are connected with all 4 major religions, so it just shows you that divine synchronicity that we are all connected. And so, okay, so the angels wanted to say that. There was something else that was important to name. It's okay. It went in one ear, not the other, but it'll come back. So hi, say hi if you're here. Welcome. Okay. So from the angelic perspective, your pain is a portal. Your pain is a teacher. Your pain is a messenger. Which is similar to the angels, right? Because they are messengers of God, right? They're bringing us messages of healing, love, connection, support. And so one of the biggest shifts we're making is to start to shift from what the ego thinks about pain, right? Kill it, numb it, suppress it, hide it, deny it, to the higher frequency of pain and then what message it has. So I want to use myself as an example. My shoulder has been bothering me again. And I do have a repetitive strain injury. So from, the massaging and, decades of giving massages. And it flared up again. So I had this little flare up and I knew it was connected with starting to lift weights again. I've been doing 50 squats a day and I was like, oh, let me add the kettlebell in. And I was like very intentional. I did it with my core. I made sure not to strain. I did all this stuff to not hurt myself. Hey, Shanak. I did everything to not hurt myself. Oh, hold on a second. Okay. That was interesting. Okay. Mercury retrograde. Let me know you can still hear me. Okay. But I was like, oh, here it is again, right? And there were layers to it, right? Because it's like, oh, here's that pain again. I know I've been here before. So one of the messages from my angels was to slow down, simplify, and soften. And one of the messages was to really have so much compassion for, of course, compassion for the now, but it was like compassion for who I was when I was struggling with chronic pain. And something really interesting happened yesterday with my chiropractor. So, and there's just been so much there's so much unfolding, right? And as a highly sensitive, highly intuitive soul, we're feeling things at a very deep level. And we're not only feeling our own stuff at a very deep level, we're feeling those that we love, those who are in our orbit, and the collective. So the pain, the biggest shift the angels are inviting us to make is that pain is a messenger. Pain has a message for us. So I was at the chiropractor yesterday and I was like, okay, I started lifting weights and, this feels triggered again. There's inflammation, there's pain. And he went directly in and I had said something, I had to change workshops this week. I had to reschedule some workshops and I really hate that. And he was like, wait, what? So he's working on my shoulder and I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, I don't know, I thought my shoulder, maybe I was pushing the river again, and not trusting the flow and not, honoring the slowing down process. And he was like, he started doing his thing and muscle testing it. And what he came up with was, he's like, okay, here's what I feel. I feel anguish. Like when you're talking about this. And I was like, oh, that's heavy, but yeah. And he goes, and 8 years old. So I'm like, okay. And I couldn't remember what had happened when I was 8 years old initially. And so he's working on it and he's releasing it. And he was like, changing workshops now, rescheduling workshops now, why it feels hard, why you have a part that hates it, is because it creates anguish. And I was like, oh, and that was something that you experienced when you were 8. And he was like, anguish is hurt. Anguish is like, it didn't go the way you wanted it to. Because I thought there were just a lot of thoughts, right? And when I sat with that and realized that this fear of disappointing people by changing the workshop, the fear of looking disorganized or unprofessional or not put together, the fear of I'm a failure because not enough people signed up for the workshop, so I had to reschedule it, was all living in my shoulder. And deeper than that, right, was a part of me that's been holding this anguish. So why I'm afraid to reschedule, why why I'm afraid to reschedule was really from this childhood imprint of being disappointed, having people not keep their word, right? Saying they're going to do something and then not doing it. Let me know if that resonates. And then how that created this hurt and how it created this anguish inside of me. And I'm just going to say, like, I'm so relieved that I now know that this pain in here, and it is interesting because I was like, oh, this is that repetitive strain injury pain again. And what did I do wrong? And why is this happening to me? Right? Like all the spiral that can happen. And then it was like, no. The pain, this current now pain that was triggered by the weightlifting had a message for me. Hi, Lauren, welcome. And holy cow, am I grateful? And of course, then I was like, oh my God, now I can apply the alchemy formula. So when I was praying about what to talk about today, I was like, what value am I going to add? What message am I going to share? I kept hearing something that the angels taught me in my book, something that I learned in my book, which is that when fear is ready to release, it shows up as pain. So basically every pain in your body, the root source of it is fear. Let me know if that resonates. Below it all, below the pain, below the inflammation, the swelling, there's a fear. For me, it was the fear of disappointing others. The fear of looking like a failure. The fear of not keeping my word. And I was like, wow, like the not keeping your word is a trauma response, right? This fear of that, because there was a lot of that as a child, right? Parents saying they were going to do something and then not being able to for all the different reasons, right? Maybe it was money, maybe it was time, maybe it's because they forgot, maybe it's because they were wasted, like all the things, right? And I say this with great compassion for my parents and for me, but this anguish that I've been carrying that I didn't even know was in there. And how did I figure it out? Well, self-care. I slowed down enough to say, oh, there's a message here, right? So I applied the slow, simple, soft method, but I didn't do it alone, right? I had help. This time it was my chiropractor, right? Who muscle tested it. He went directly into it. And like, I'm telling you, this one neck crack, and I think he cracked like 16 vertebrae. I was like, wow. Total like realignment. But it wasn't just, oh, let me crack your neck. It was like, there's a message here, right? And I'm like, oh, my inner 8-year-old, she needs me. right? She needs me to send her love. She needs me to hear the anguish that she carried from not being, just from everything, right? I mean, some of it was just people not, keeping their word, but also just the anguish that was in the energy field of my childhood, and that my mom had experienced and my father experienced. So that's the message today, right? Your angels love you unconditionally, and they're here, right now, sending you love, sending you support, sending you healing. They know how to heal your pain. So as an angel coach, what I do is I help you hear your own angels, receive your own messages. I was just talking to someone this morning who was asking me about my coaching programs and sort of like what I do. And I'm like, I help my client is the healer. So I'm all about giving my client all their power back, right? Their power to listen, their power to trust, their power to transform their pain into peace, to take that lead and turn it into spiritual gold. So I asked a question, right? Like the question that I asked the guardian angels was, how is it that you're trusting your pain has a message for you? And the message today was transformation, which is what, I'll read the message and then I'll share more. Life-altering changes can be created now. It demands that you expand your skills, utilize your intuitive wisdom, and step out of your comfort zone. Take the leap. And I thought, this was, it's funny. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know what to talk about. Like I have this part that's like, what value am I adding? What do I need to say today? Like all the thing, right? And then the angels are just like, talk about what just happened. Like you just had a moment of transformation. Thank you, Shanaka. I hope that resonated. Good to see you, love. And so when we approach our pain with gentleness, with compassion, with understanding, with an awareness that the pain is a part of us that is asking, it's a part of us that's in fear, right? There's some fear in there that needs transformation. The fear is the lead, right? That's the lead. And the transformation, the alchemy into gold happens when we relax, release, and receive, right? When we relax, then that's what I did, right? At the chiropractor, it's relaxing. He's working on these points, right? I'm giving myself time to breathe. I'm giving myself time to receive. And the release came both physically through the physical manipulation, but it also came through the mental and emotional awareness of what I was carrying in there. And that created the relief. And then the receiving, it's like, oh, there's a gem. So now my work, right, is to get a gem from anguish. Like, what did I learn from carrying this anguish for so long? What's the deeper meaning of this anguish? What's the deeper meaning? And the message wasn't don't stop lifting weights, right? That wasn't the message. The message was you're still holding. And I'm so grateful because I now understand why, at a deeper level, why I had so much resistance to rescheduling workshops, right? It wasn't just, I have to reschedule a workshop. It was like, why I had so much anguish was connected with my inner child holding this anguish of consistently being disappointed by the adults around me. And then probably vowing to never do that again, never do that to other people, right? And it's funny because one of the things, and I still value this about myself, one of the things one of my friends said about me, which I appreciated so much, was like, Jill, you show up. And so theirs is. She goes, Jill, we can always count on you. And now I know the gem of anguish is that I learned to always show up. And I'll also say that there is also a time to create space for grace. The way it unfolded, the way this week unfolded for me to give this workshop more time was so beautiful. Like it just, and I knew it was divine, but I could still feel parts of me resisting it. Like I could feel the parts resisting, but I knew what my soul was saying. And that took so much courage, right? So I just want to say, I know how courageous, I know how vulnerable this spiritual journey is. I know how, and the angels know how vulnerable it is. The angels know how courageous we are. Thank you, Lauren. I appreciate that. And it takes so much courage to trust yourself, right? To trust yourself, to trust your intuition. And that's what the angels are saying this week, right? And here's the other thing, one of the things the angels are saying. We want to listen to the small pains. We want to, like, this was not like overwhelming. It was just more just kind of, it was a little annoying. It was a little irritating. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad. Like, and the crazy thing is I actually switched this appointment with another appointment. So I wasn't even supposed to see Dr. Dan this week. So talk about like being protected, right? Being aligned, like having the support I needed. Because I needed to change those workshops for so many different reasons. And I needed to understand why I have so much freaking resistance to it. And why I would always, it would be so hard. Like I was pushing the river, right? And now I'm like, oh. So I love you all so much. I'm so grateful for you. I'm hearing something the angels are saying, and I need to just slow down for a minute. Okay, yeah, thank you. So notice that it's okay to pause, take a sip of water, and gather your thoughts. The ego, and I've talked about this before, the ego complicates. The soul is simple. So right now, you can apply the slow, simple, soft, and have some transformation of your pain, whether that pain is physical or emotional, right? Slow down and relax. Come into the now, right? Relax physically, softening the shoulders. Relax emotionally, knowing that you are loved beyond measure, loved beyond your wildest dreams. Relax mentally by focusing on the breath. And then relax spiritually by knowing that you can surrender this pain. You can surrender this fear below the pain, right? Because remember, when fear is ready to release, it shows up as pain. So underneath that headache, underneath that knee pain, underneath that back pain is a fear. And I'm going to be talking more about this on Tuesday. I just changed my podcast. I had to change things this month, so I did a new graphic, and I'm doing a different, and I'm going to be talking about this a little more deeply in my podcast on Tuesday morning, because these are supposed to be short and sweet, so I'm going to have to go in a minute. Oh, it's 11:11. Thank you, angels, for drawing near at this time, revealing to me what I most need to know. And spiritual relaxation is surrender, right? So just like, okay, I'm willing to surrender this fear. I'm willing to surrender this pain and understand what it's really saying to me. So then we simplify the story, right? We simplify the process. We simplify the spiral and begin to release, right? Release and devote, release and devote, right? I'm devoted to receiving love and healing from my angels. And then the softening. The softening is where we receive. The softening is where we allow. The softening is where I'm hearing we let it be so that we can receive, right? The message, the medicine, the gem, right? The message. So this weekend, your pain is the messenger. Your pain has a message. And when you slow down, simplify, and soften, you will get that answer. And then you have the courage to ask, right? Not from a spiritual bypassing way, but have the courage to ask, what lesson am I learning from this pain? What is the deeper meaning of this pain? What's the gem of this pain? So I am so glad I have the gem of anguish. And I know there's more to be revealed. So, yeah, if you are, okay, let me say that again. Take a sip of water. Thank you, thank you. Your guardian angels are right here, right now. They've been with you since the creation of your soul, and they love you unconditionally. That's eternal. And my job as an angel coach is to help you to access that love. So I have an invitation for you to a free consult. It's called the Angelic Pain Relief Consult. This is a heartfelt and compassionate space. It's a 1-hour conversation over Zoom where I'm listening to you and your angels. And I'm going to help you hear what your angels are saying about your pain. Right? To witness that pain, to look at that pain through the eyes of love. And then together we create your customized roadmap to relief. I'd love to have that conversation with you. I have a few openings in June, and I'll put that consult link in the comments. So thank you so much for being here. I know there was something else the angels wanted to say. So what is the leap for you, right? What is getting out of your comfort zone to create transformation, to alchemize that pain into peace? What is that for you this weekend? Is it saying yes to, maybe something that's been niggling inside of you, some change, some conversation, some appointment you need to make, right? Like there's something. It is funny because I pull an oracle card on Monday, and the card was make a decision, and I couldn't remember. I was like, wait, what was the card? Such a great message, and I put it out there and blah blah blah. And then I was like, oh my gosh, make a decision. And one of those decisions I had to make was to reschedule those appointments, right? And just so many things unfolded to have that happen. So speaking of that, the Claire Fragrance class is now on June 27th at Sacred Ground. So I'd love to see you there. I've had been talking about it for weeks and promoting it, and just for, several different reasons, we gave it a longer runway. And I also moved my energy body basics workshop to July. So I'm going to be talking about that as we go, the power of our energy body to transform our pain into peace, to keep us connected to the angels. And so all of that's on my website, jillkempnerhealing.com. And I also send this in my newsletter. So if you're not signed up for that, go to my newsletter. Go to my website, jillkempnerhealing.com. And at the bottom of the page, you can sign up for my newsletter so you can get these value add videos to your, directly to your inbox. And I think that's everything. So I love you. Have a beautiful weekend. I hope this added value to your life. And yeah, I'm excited to keep continuing the conversation. Be well. Mwah. Bye. Bye, Lauren, Shanaka. Thank you for being here. Everyone else who stopped in. Namaste.